Welcome to episode
11.
Once.
I was trying to not give you the chance to say that.
Of Undrafted Amateurs.
Say that again.
Once. Donce.
Danse on my once.
I feel like when I'm talking a foreign language, I'm like an actor, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
like a Z-list actor.
Yeah. Like it's like, muy caliente, mamacita. Sí.
Caliente wasn't bad.
Thank you.
In this weekend, overall, we had the players. We had NCAA
basketball
conference tournaments. And then we had the Oscars last night. But before that, more importantly, what did you do this weekend?
Little Shamrock the Block, little Gold's Gym a couple times.
Still less wilty.
Sauna. Man, I'm telling you what, that sauna, it's so nice because I just like put on a relaxing sound and I do.
Do you play spa music?
It's called like calming music, literally. I like looked up calming music on Spotify. But it was good, man. Just kind of got a chance to, I felt like relax a little bit after I feel like the last 14 days have been
just a sprint.
Absolutely insane. Yeah. But so it was really good. Sunday, I just put everything away.
Nice.
And went to church and just hung out and just kind of got some me time.
That's cool.
Which is good. What about you?
We were up in Baltimore visiting my cousin and his wife. And it was awesome.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you weren't in Golds.
I wasn't in Golds. So their house is downtown or like kind of like edge downtown suburb.
Good area though?
Great area. We can walk everywhere.
Everyone's concerned about that with Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like any city. Like it wasn't bad at all. Yeah. But it was awesome. We just walked around, hung out. It was a fun balance of fun and relaxing.
Oh, cool.
Like just there's something about exploring a new city to me.
Yeah.
I don't really care what city it is. I just like being able to walk around.
Yeah, that's cool.
See things and so.
Yeah.
What
was your favorite part of the weekend or the favorite like 30-minute segment?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have no idea though.
Could just be like just hanging out. Could be like a restaurant. Could be a breakfast.
Watched Outer Banks finale for the second time.
Oh, number 2?
Number 2.
With your cousin and his wife?
Yep.
Oh, that's fun.
Yep. I watched episode 8 3 times.
Wow. That's dedication.
It's dedication.
Are you a big Outer Banks guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we talked about Outer Banks yet?
A little bit.
Full recap yet?
Not the full recap, but
I'm gonna go in for 30 seconds here.
Okay.
Is it a super cheesy, dumb TV show? Absolutely. No. Do I love it and would I watch it 3 times in a row? Absolutely. Because the reason I watch TV is to be entertained. And Outer Banks does that for me. I love treasure. I love a little like a rom-com romance type story. I love adventure. It's just everything that I want to watch in a TV show. And I don't care if it's cheesy at times because I enjoy it. And everyone who tries to deny that also does because think about how many people have watched it in the first like 2 weeks it has been
think about how many people watch stupid, cheesy reality TV shows. Think about that. Whoever watches reality TV shows, I'm judging. I'm a judger of those. Just saying, my girlfriend watches a lot of it.
Look, if you're entertained by the thing that you're watching to be entertained, then who am I to judge it?
It's a good point.
But
the beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Clearly, that's the end of us talking about our weekend. No one wants to listen to us anymore. So the Oscars were last night. And first thing I'm going to say about it is they are too long and boring.
Yeah.
I tried watching at the beginning and it goes on so long.
It does.
Jimmy Kimmel was hosting. He did a good job. He even made fun of how long it is several times.
How long is it? 3 hours?
It might be even 4. Because it started at 8. We watched until 9:30 or 9. Yeah, and it was like halfway through stuff.
Yeah.
But Everything Everywhere All at Once and All Quiet on the Western Front, neither which movie have I seen, and both of them were just cleaning the floor.
I have seen All Quiet on the Western Front.
Was that the one? Did we talk about that a few?
That was the war movie.
Yeah.
The one, I think it was Germany where it was based in. I watched it like a month or 2 ago.
Yeah, it looked really good. I just haven't watched it yet. It won a lot of awards. And then Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I haven't seen, also won a ton of awards.
Yeah. So you thought overall, though, too long and boring?
Yeah, too long and boring. I did see that Top Gun and Wakanda Forever had some wins, which was huge because if it didn't,
Didn't Top Gun win like best sound or something?
Yeah, it was best sound. And then Wakanda Forever had best costume design and a few other ones along the way.
Yeah.
But those were probably my 2 favorite movies from the year. And so I would have been a little upset.
Were they really? I didn't see Wakanda, but Top Gun was good.
Well, you haven't seen any Marvel movies apparently.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I literally haven't.
I'm still going to catch you on. I'm still going to catch you on that.
I should do a binge, but what I've realized in the last like year or two, because I used to hate movies because I think subconsciously I thought it was very unproductive.
To watch a movie?
Yeah. Because like
Say more.
I hated to relax apparently, which I'm slowly finding out about myself. And when I would relax, I'd feel bad for relaxing, so it wasn't really relaxing.
What would you do instead?
I would try to like do something during a movie. Like work or like
Would you do
something.
anything to relax in general? I guess you played golf, but that felt productive because it was an activity.
Yes. And it was outside. Which
would
I
you
always feel
read?
like, I do read, but I only read for like a few minutes a day.
And not fiction or anything? Just
No, that's not
Interesting.
productive. I literally only read like nonfiction, business or mindset books.
I can't stand. I used to read some of those. I can't stand them because generally the entire book could be said in a chapter that you could see, and it feels like a total waste of time to me.
Very true. But anyway, that's to say that I'm watching more movies because I'm trying to.
You're like, now I'm a movie guy because it's productive to watch.
Now I'm trying to like.
It's productive to relax. I'm into movies now.
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to reframe my mindset around a lot of things right now, actually, but that definitely being one of them. So I am trying to watch more movies.
Nice.
All in all. Also, Wakanda Forever, you know what that reminded me of?
What's that?
Waka Flocka Flame. What happened to him?
I think he's just playing at colleges still.
Mm.
It's kind of where his career
He had
ended
that
up.
one really good song.
Yeah.
No Hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So other news, we had the Players Championship, which I know you're jazzed about.
Oh, I'm jazzing all over the place here. So Scotty Scheffler, I wanted it to be more of like the Honor Palmer, right? When there's 9 players within one shot on the back 9 of Sunday, which is unbelievable in a golf tournament. But Scotty Scheffler ran away with this. I was watching, and the first 6 holes were competitive.
Yeah.
And then maybe hole 4 or 5, whoever he was playing with, the Australian guy, he tripled. That put him way back. And Scotty Scheffler birdied 5 holes in a row, I think. I think he birdied maybe, don't quote me, but like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Anyway, he birdied like 5 holes in a row and just separated himself from the whole pack.
Dang.
And so by hole 12, it was over. He was up like 5 or 6 with 6 holes left. And you're like, at that point, it's kind of over. Hatton posted a great score, though, at 65 that day. So he was in the clubhouse at 12. But anyway, that's all to say. Scotty Scheffler returns to #1 ranking in the world after that win. He also won the Waste Management this year. So he's won twice already, and it's March 13th.
He's been looking pretty dominant. It was on in the background, one of the places we were at, and I like watched him miss a putt. Did you see the one that was like, did a little circle around the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
That was all I watched the whole tournament. But yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of kind of golf, the Dell is coming up, which is one of my favorite tournaments of the year, the match play, because it's just different. Like they play stroke play. They play a 4-day stroke play event every tournament. It never changes. They play the same format. It's the exact same. But the Dell match play is the one tournament where they do like match play. So it'll be like Scotty Scheffler versus Roy McIlroy, and whoever wins that match advances. But the problem is, this is the last year they're doing it. And so I guess the PGA is just going straight stroke play tournaments in 2024.
Interesting.
Which it kind of pisses me off. Like if you have, I don't know how many tournaments they have in the PGA, 40 tournaments maybe, but if you have 40 tournaments and like all 40 are stroke play, like maybe don't even make it count as a PGA win, but I'm sure these guys would love to play more of like a Ryder Cup or match play. Like some of the guys even say match play is one of their favorite tournaments of the year because it's just a different
Yeah, but it would be fun to
atmosphere.
mix it up.
Yeah. So anyway, once I'm the CEO of the PGA, I'll change that around a bit.
Yeah,
But
you
until
do
then,
that. You do that.
Till then, there's not much.
Continuing though with golf, Iceman's Unsung Hero today. I haven't watched it yet because I'm trying to save it for a live reaction.
I have not either.
But it has to do with the Players Tournament, so I thought this is the perfect time to put it in here.
This gets me fired up.
Gets me
Iceman.
fired up.
This weekend, the PGA Tour hosted the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. In the top 5 most iconic holes in golf, you might find that number 17, the par 3 137-yard island hole at TPC Sawgrass, is probably near the top of the list. This weekend, we saw 3 aces from
I didn't know that was
individuals
3.
who are
Saw one
in
of those.
contention, some who weren't even close.
Yeah.
But it made me wonder, for each person on the list as having had a hole-in-one on that hole, who holds up the foundation as the unsung hero that holds the worst score on number 17 at TPC Sawgrass? So I did a little research. Come to find out, a guy named Bob Tway in 2005 shot a 12, a 9 over. But that's not cool enough. That's just a PGA Tour guy having a bad day. There are a couple holes in my history I would love to have had a 9 over on.
That is facts.
So I dug a little further and found the name Angelo Spagnolo, who in 1986 entered Golf Digest magazine's competition to see who the worst avid golfer is or was in America. Golf Digest has these players out to TPC Sawgrass, of course, a professional course, to see who might take the cake. After 16 holes, Spagnolo was 104 over, and he stepped into the 17th tee box. And fair enough to say he hits the ball into the water, hits another one into the water, and then goes into the relief zone, and proceeds to hit another 25 balls into the water, making for a total of 27 into the drink. Angelo Spagnolo did finally finish the hole, where he walked away with a 66, which is 4 strokes higher than the course record that was also set this weekend.
Hard share.
Here's to you, Angelo Spagnolo, making the rest of us golfers feel a little bit better about the next bad hole we have.
That's
because
incredible.
You're this week's unsung hero.
That is incredible. And then we've got the video of it.
Oh, please hit
Angelo Spagnolo, a 31-year-old store manager from Fayette City, Pennsylvania. It was the crucial moment at the much-celebrated 17th, a hole where fortunes have been won and lost.
Yeah, there's one.
That one was solid.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Just rolls it across the
It's because
green
the
right
greens
there.
are so fast. He can't get it high enough. It's like a 40-yard chip for my guy.
Balls in the water, Angelo made a 12-footer for a 66. The day belonged to Angelo Spagnolo with an 18.
What a guy.
257. Way to go, Angelo.
Iceman's not wrong. This makes me feel like a way better golfer.
257. That's what he shot.
66 on one hole.
So on 18, though, he must have had another, like, plus 70.
Oh, yeah, because he was coming in at, what was it, 150?
He said, like, over something like that.
I don't know. That is wild, though.
Wow. And he made the 12-footer for the 66. That was my favorite
That's what I can do.
He made the 12-footer for the 66.
That is incredible.
It just goes to show. And what they were doing, they were playing like legit golf. I imagine you couldn't move the ball. You had to re-tee and you had to play like, you know, play the provisional and do everything correctly by golf terms.
Yeah.
You know how many times when people are playing golf, we'll just drop here.
Yeah.
Or drop here.
Yeah.
Instead of like hitting another. Like,
yeah.
I am willing to bet if you're like a 15 handicap, right? And you play not even like a course like TPC. Maybe you just play like a course you've never seen that has some OB and it's like a difficult course. Yeah. You wouldn't break 110, maybe 120 if you actually played like pros play, for example, like re-teed a lost ball and like all that type of stuff.
For a 15 handicap, it depends because it all depends on like how you normally keep scores at 15.
I just know how hard it was like for me because I played in high school and just the difference between like playing with your buddies versus like playing in a tournament.
Oh, with the pressure is a whole different.
Yeah.
So with pressure, hole 17, $10 million to land it on the green, 1 year in jail if you hit it in the water. Would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't.
Even as a 2 handicap, no shot.
You wouldn't.
There's no shot I would do
You
that.
wouldn't.
Well, it's short. It's only 135 yards, but I am known to pull one left.
Yeah, but $10 million.
But a year in jail.
$10 million.
I'm a risk averse. I mean, I take calculated risk. That is not the calculated risk I'm going to take.
What if you could figure out a way to hedge it though?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's true.
split it with people. They'll pay you $1 million if you go to the jail for a year. Like I'd go to jail for a year for $1 million.
Would you?
Yeah. Would you not?
No way.
You wouldn't go to jail for a year for $1 million.
Absolutely not.
Why?
There's a lot of reasons, I feel like.
You are a little smaller.
I get cold easy.
You get cold easy. You think you'd be prey. Well, on that note.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother argument. I don't know.
That is, yeah. I don't know if we want to go there.
Yeah.
But NCAA conference championships or tournaments were this week.
Yep.
We have for the Power Five because who really cares about outside of that?
Very true.
ACC, Duke won.
Well, Gonzaga.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares about the whole tournaments as a whole?
Yeah.
It's just like the teams outside of Power Five. Duke won the ACC, Purdue won Big 10, Texas won Big 12, Arizona won the Pac-12, and then shocker here, Alabama won the SEC. They're solid
They
this
are a
year.
basketball school.
This year, they are solid at basketball.
They're very solid at basketball.
Even if they have people.
And I was shocked Duke won the ACC. They came out of nowhere the back half of the season.
Were they the 1 or 2 seed for the ACC? Do you know?
I know they were favored against Virginia by 2.5 in the championship game. But I don't know if they were the 1 seed going into the tournament.
We've got, obviously, March Madness coming up. You going to do a bracket for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love doing at least a couple.
I just know nothing about college basketball this year.
This year, yes.
Nothing.
I used to, dude, when I was in high school and stuff, I would know. I feel like when I was in high school, I would know, I don't know how, but I just knew everything about sports.
It's fair because you didn't watch movies, so you could just do that. But
NFL, baseball,
Yeah.
even NBA, I knew.
college basketball just changes so quickly because players aren't here as long. Like it's moving
One
in
and done,
out.
too.
So it's like if you blink or you don't miss, or like you miss one season, it's tough to come
Yeah,
back.
it was
from
cool to see John Shire, though, because I used to watch him. I think it was when I was in middle school or high school, because he was a beast guard for Duke in 2010, maybe.
That. That's pretty solid.
But he's the head coach because he took over for Coach K.
Yeah.
Last year. And in his first season, I don't think he ever lost to Cameron, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. I knew there's a point like a month ago where he hadn't lost a home game all season.
Yeah.
And then also he won the ACC championship, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So now let's dive into the Silicon Valley Bank. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
About how, it was like,
It was the second largest in U.S. history.
yeah. And over 50% of startups in the United States have some form of either deposit or loan or some type of deal with Silicon Valley Bank. Over 50%.
Of startups?
Yep.
Wow.
In the United States.
Wow.
So, yeah, dude, I saw this at first, knee-jerk reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like most people, I'm like, we're going under the economy. It's like 2007 all over again. But yeah, the fact that like it went under, that was a huge deal.
Yeah. That was wild. So obviously massive, then no federal bailout. And they came in and said that they weren't going to do anything there. Shareholders are not going to be protected in it. Senior management was removed. But then like anyone who deposited money will still have access to the money.
That's what I didn't understand. So I read like 5 articles on this, right? Not one article mentioned how they're going to have access to their money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they just going to go to a random like JP Morgan or random Chase and then just hey, I was at Silicon Valley. I need $500,000 of unsecured. Because, up to $250,000, it's secured by the FDIC. But anything above $250,000 is unsecured, which means like technically they could lose it. That's why everyone was freaking out Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, but access to all of their money. So what's happened with the plus 250? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, over 250.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying like if it's just say I'm a startup, which I am, and I have $600,000 with Silicon Valley Bank. So what happens to the other $350,000? Where do I pull that out at? Yeah. That's what I couldn't, like no one would say. I don't remember the exact term, but it was literally billions of dollars that was uninsured. This kind of surprised me a little bit, like that everyone's so calm about it. Like everyone kind of at first was a little panicky, and then once they said depositors would have access to all their money, everyone kind of calmed down. But like at the same time, the only other time this has happened that's been bigger than this is 2007 or 2008. I think it was Washington Bank maybe. They went under. And this is a pretty big ordeal.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see the shakeup in the next 3, 6, 12 months of what are like the ripple effects of this.
So I'd be curious, like you said, just to see, like we can speculate right now, but who knows? Just thought that was an interesting thing that happened this weekend. That, like you said, people kind of calm about it.
Yeah.
So
when there's so much like, I don't know, it was pretty interesting. What I also want to touch though was on the NHL. We got to shout out my buddy Scott here for a second. His Boston Bruins are the fastest to 50 wins ever in NHL history. And you know what? I'm going to go on record and say I'm now a Boston Bruins fan.
All right. So you joined the Eagles this year. You joined the Boston Bruins this year.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see a trend.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see a trend.
Winning, I'm all in, right?
And then double down on it until they lose.
Yeah. But they're on fire, dude. And
yeah, they do look pretty solid. So
it'll be interesting to see if, like, honestly, if the Stars or someone like anyone can kind of compete with them this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I always have this feeling though with sports teams where if they have such a good regular season, they're going to screw up somewhere in the playoffs.
I don't know if it's as much as they're going to not, like, any team can get hot in the playoffs. And
Very true.
any team can beat any team in a series. And, well, okay, for the most part, any team can. So it's not as much of like a choking, which I think it's often thought of by a team that's doing really well in the regular season, and more of like, you can just have an off night while someone else is hot. And like, that's just what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Where like you should win it, you are the better team, but stuff can still happen, which is kind of tough.
That really happens too in baseball.
Yeah,
Oh
both
my
of those.
goodness.
And then football, obviously, when it's one game, you can lose it. But in the NFL, which is a perfect segue there, free agent moves, some of those are happening. I don't feel like there's not as many players happening, like as many moves happening in the league this offseason. Carr obviously went to the Saints.
Yep.
Which I think that was probably a good move for everyone involved.
I think so too.
I think it's going to make the Saints obviously a contender in one of the worst divisions in football.
Unless Panthers.
The
apparently
NFC
find
South
their
is
answer.
trash. Sub 500 this year.
I got a lot of thoughts. I've read so many articles on the Panthers ever since they traded.
Yeah,
So
we
we'll
definitely need to
save it.
hop in that trade in a minute. But
Yeah. But I don't know about the Carr trade. I think everyone overreacted about that.
what do you mean? Like overreacted, good or bad?
Like good to the Saints. They were like, oh, Derek Carr to the Saints. This is going to make Saints a contender.
well, not a contender. Well, I guess technically if you're in the playoffs, you're a contender. They're just going to make them a playoff team. They're not going to go to the top. But
Yeah.
Taysom Hill versus Derek Carr. Like,
Oh, it's definitely a little bit of an upgrade. I just don't think Derek Carr is that good of a quarterback.
So I think that we've seen his ceiling in Vegas, but I think that he is solid. Like his floor is so much higher than what they've had in a while.
Agreed.
So he's going to make them a good playoff team. He's not going to make them a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
I would be
That's true.
shocked if it does.
Yeah.
And then obviously Aaron Rodgers, there's still question marks. It seems like the Jets.
That's
Jets
what I
are
keep
coming.
hearing.
I have seen some Vegas stuff.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously way more Jets, but I saw at one point that maybe he wanted to go to Vegas, which, that's my prediction a few episodes ago. So,
Was it?
yeah.
Oh.
When I said that Tom Brady was going to the 49ers,
Oh,
which
yeah.
who knows, maybe he still will.
Who knows? It's not over.
Yeah. But it seems, I think the Packers are going to move on from him. They need
Agreed.
to.
100%.
So probably Jets, maybe Vegas though. I'm still holding on to that one.
Yeah.
And then Lamar Jackson received the non-exclusive franchise tag. So I think it's a little interesting watching this situation right now because Lamar Jackson is definitely one of the top quarterbacks, an
For
MVP
sure.
winner.
Yep.
I think that the deals with Russell Wilson
Yeah.
and Kyler Murray are really hurting him right now.
Yeah.
Where they started to set a precedent, but then half of the big deals have essentially gone under for the team.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing a lot of teams being very nervous to keep that trend going. They're like, we're starting to set the precedent, but if it's not working, we don't really want to establish it.
Right.
And I think that's why they did the non-exclusive tag so that they can shop around a little bit and then not overpay, still have the opportunity to match whatever offer he gets.
Yeah.
But then the other problem with Lamar is he's not as much of a plug and play quarterback. You have to build your whole scheme and whole offense around him. So I think that's why we're not seeing a ton of interest from other teams with him too. Even
Yeah.
though he's a quality quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to think he's going to stay in Baltimore.
So I agree. I 100% agree with what you said because there's actually some rumors about the Panthers before they traded.
Mhm. And Falcons, which
And
I
the
got shut down
Falcons.
by Art.
Yep. But I think you're right. I think you have to build a specific scheme around Lamar. He's not like someone who you can just like throw in there and then, he'll learn the plays and the game plan and then just, be ready kind of week 1, week 2. He's one of those guys you really got to build because it's such a running offense. And obviously you got to train the offensive line like that. And it's a whole.
And it's great if it does work, but if that's not where you're trying to build to,
Right.
then it wouldn't make sense to go do a Russell Wilson deal and then have it go under.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in the next couple
Unfolds.
months.
So then Panthers trade down to number 1.
I could make a 3-hour episode on this.
Well, give me your 30-second thoughts instead.
60 seconds, yes.
I'm starting the timer right now. You have 60 seconds. Go.
Knee-jerk reaction, I was pissed off because they gave up 2 first, 2 seconds, right? And DJ Moore, who's a great athlete. But the more I kind of like let it digest and the more I thought it over, I was like, if they get their franchise QB, I do like the trade. If they don't, I hate them forever. That's the thing. It's like, this is a huge trade. They gave away a lot of picks and DJ Moore, but it's like they really feel like they're in a position to win now. And they feel like if they get this QB, they have a chance to win. The best part is the Frank Reich, the head coach, and the Tepper, the owner, they've never had a good QB to build around. So they're very hungry. And I think that's the reason for the trade. But also they apparently, reports say they differ on who they want to pick.
I did see that.
How funny is that? You trade up for the first pick and you don't even know as an organization. Boom, 60 seconds.
Well done. Well done there. Okay. I get what you're saying about the difference of opinions. I think that part of that might be played up because I think a lot of times organizations, they try to see how fan bases are going to react because it's also part of a game. Like
It is.
or same thing is if you have a current player and like maybe like one of their moves that the agents tell them about is like, hey, I'm going to delete all the pictures of the team on my Instagram account and then see how fans react. And I can use that as a leveraging power in the front office. So I'm curious to see if that's part of it. But here's my initial thought on it. And I'll go see if I can do this in 30 seconds. You can't know if a pick's going to pay out or
Correct.
not. Like at one point, you just have to decide now. If it does, you're really happy, like you said. If not, you hate him forever, but you can't do that because they don't know it now. I was bummed about DJ Moore because I like him. But at the same time, receivers are much easier to find than quarterbacks. I think he's a great receiver, but like he's replaceable. And so at the end of the day, I kind of like that they're making a move at least.
I like that they're doing something. I agree. Now they gave up a ton. Like they gave up
too much, I think.
They gave up obviously a top 10 pick this year. They flopped. And then I guarantee it's going to be a top 10 pick next year, right? Based on where they finished this year. And then two second round picks. Like if they really feel like they're in a position to win now, fine.
So here's where I disagree. I don't think it's for winning now because they're going, how can we build a really good, they want to do what the Bills did a few years ago when they like got rid of everyone. I remember when they got rid of Sammy Watkins, everyone's like, what are you doing? They get Josh Allen, they start building. They're trying to build a team that can last, that can become the Chiefs in 10 years, in 5 to 10 years, maybe sooner. Where I think this is where you get rid of people like Christian McCaffrey because he's amazing. He's going to be a winner for the next 4 or 5 years. Then he's going to be on the wrong side of 30, which is tough for running backs. DJ Moore is going to be getting up there. And so they're trying to figure out how can we build a team off of it, which is why they're going here. I'm a little interested, and I don't want to get into players too much because that'll be our next segment. And also I want to talk about it in upcoming weeks. From most people's opinions, next draft class is going to be a lot stronger for quarterbacks than this one.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not sold on it, to your point of like if Reich and Tepper disagree.
It's also two things. It's also so funny how now the hype is getting worse because the drafts are here.
Yeah.
Now they're calling them the big 4 quarterbacks. When like 6 months ago, they were like, what a weak draft class. And then now they're like the big 4, you know?
Well, I will say of the draft class, they're definitely 4
for sure.
and then there's no more.
But the last thing I'll add before we move on is one part that people don't talk about a lot is if the team picks correctly and that they develop the quarterback within 5 years, like they essentially win the lottery because they're paying very little for a great quarterback and they can really build it like Jalen Hurts has done with the Philadelphia Eagles when they can pay other people.
Even what's looking like might happen with Justin Fields. Like,
yes.
So that's where you just don't know though. So if you can't say hindsight's 2020, so when it pays out, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's like you have to shoot your best shot.
The problem is though, if they pick someone like a Baker Mayfield equivalent or something like that doesn't pan out to be like that franchise QB, they're not going to be good.
What's happening downstairs?
They're not going to be good for a long time.
I wonder if it's coming through the podcast. If you can, they are starting construction right beneath our feet. So that's what's happening there. I agree at that point though.
Let's just hope they pick correctly though. As a Panthers fan, because if they pick someone like a Baker Mayfield or like not a good franchise QB, they are not going to be good for the next 6, 7, 8 years at least. Because they gave away.
And I don't think it's a move to pick someone that's going to be a good first year contract guy. Because I do think there's some. But then picking the right one leads me to this next segment, which we're doing the top team challenge, where we've got teams 1 through 4. We argue top to bottom which one is the best. So right now, we've got the 2023 draft class on the board right now. I've got a quarterback, the big four quarterbacks, a running back, a receiver, and then a defender. We've got, I guess, an inside guy and then 3 edges. So team 1 is Anthony Richardson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Quentin Johnston, and Jalen Carter. Team 2, CJ Stroud, Devin Achane, Zay Flowers, and Tyree Wilson. Team 3, we've got Will Levis, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Hyatt, Lucas Van Ness. And then team 4, Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba, and then Will Anderson Jr. What you laughing at? Jackson
That's
Smith
good
and
pronunciation.
Jigba.
Pronunciation.
Once. All right. So you want to kick us off with who do you think is team 4 on this list? What is the worst team up here?
On morals or on like football ability?
On if you're drafting.
So I'm going to go kind of a little off the wall here
Uh-huh.
as the worst one. But I think team 4.
You think team 4 is the worst one?
Yes. And the reason
Explain
I say
yourself.
that, it's kind of the sole reason where I think Bryce Young is overhyped.
Why do you think he's overhyped?
I think his abilities, like, first of all, he's listed as 6 feet. I don't know
He's
how
5'10" and an 8.
Yeah. I don't know how true the 6 foot listing is. So 5'10" and 8. Traditionally, quarterbacks under 6 foot never make it in the NFL. Now, there has been quote unquote exceptions where you have Kyler Murray. It's like you could a legit NFL QB. But all in all, I hate to say it, but I don't think Bryce Young is gonna be a good NFL quarterback.
I think you're wrong. But teach your own. I'm going to go in 4th place is team 3. Will Levis, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Hyatt, Lucas Van Ness. Zach Charbonnet is a solid running back. I think he's comparable with the other ones up here. Jalen Hyatt obviously won the Belindikoff, but I don't think he's as good as the other receivers or won't be as good in the NFL. And then Lucas Van Ness had a solid combine. They're all solid here. Will Levis, I think he has a lot of potential, but I think he has the lowest floor of all the quarterbacks up here. He might be the biggest bust.
Oh,
Like he has the potential of becoming the biggest bust because I think he has the lowest floor.
gotcha. Interesting. Okay. So for me, team 3 is 3.
Okay.
Right? I agree. I think Will Levis, he's got the potential to be a good NFL quarterback, but he also has the lowest floor. So I agree with you there. I like Lucas Van Ness. I just think the kid's got swagger. But other than that, I mean, I think team 3 is put in its rightful place of 3.
I think that's fair. The one thing I'll add to about Will Levis is so much of his his potential is coming from the 2021 season. Like most draft experts are saying, you got to look past 2022 and go back in time, which I think shows that he has like a lower floor too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're having to go back in time.
Yeah.
Team 2 for me is in 3rd place. Devin Achane is ridiculously fast, but I don't think he's going to be a complete NFL running back. You're not going to make people miss the way you do in college. You have to break tackles. Zay Flowers is a good receiver, but I don't think he's as good as Jackson Smith and Jigba or Quentin Johnston. And then Tyree Wilson is solid, but I would also put him as the 3rd remaining defensive lineman. So then it goes back to CJ Stroud, who I think he's very accurate, but I don't think he has the it factor. And I don't think this whole team has the it factor, which is why I'm putting him in 3rd place.
So that leaves my championship to team 1, team 2. 1 and 2.
What do you think here?
Championship. I am actually going to go straight down the line.
Okay.
So I think team 2 is runner-up just because I think CJ Stroud is very accurate. And I do think the Panthers are going to pick him number 1 overall. And I, as a Panthers fan, I do believe that he's going to be a franchise QB. Right? So you just have to hope that. I think, like you said, everyone else is kind of comparable, but pretty much just based on CJ Stroud being a franchise QB.
Okay.
But I don't think they're better than team 1 overall. Anthony Richardson, his ceiling seems to get higher and higher as the days go by. So he could be an absolute dog in the NFL, Cam Newton-esque. Also, Quentin Johnston is a beast, and so is Jalen Carter, despite everything going on. So I think team 1 overall takes it.
Okay. My championship, team 1, team 4. I'm going to run down this. Anthony Richardson, I was at first thinking of him as a very low floor, potential high ceiling. Like he has a lot of pieces in place to be a great quarterback. I'm starting to think, though, that his floor is way higher than I thought. He's such a freak athlete where I saw something that he had a faster 40 than CeeDee Lamb, bigger hands than DeAndre Hopkins. Like he's taller than George Kittle. Like he's a stud. which makes me think that he's going to be able to come in and be productive on some level. His passing game might not be there, but like he's still going to have a good running game. They're going to be able to move the ball with him. So that's why I think that he's a higher floor guy than I was originally thinking. Jahmyr Gibbs is a really good running back. Quentin Johnston, like you said, I mean, he's got a great frame. I think he's going to be a very good NFL receiver. Jalen Carter is a total dog, especially if you exclude anything off the field. But then team 4, you've got Will Anderson, also incredible edge, pretty comparable to Jalen Carter, although I'd give it a little bit to Jalen Carter. Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably the best receiver up here. I think it's close, though, between him and Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson, though, is the best backup here. I think he's going to make an awesome NFL back. And Bryce Young, I think the only real argument against him is size. And we all know size doesn't matter. I think
Fair enough.
I think that Bryce Young he has such a good presence. He has the ability to make plays outside the pocket that we see from Patrick Mahomes. His football IQ is just off the charts. He's doing things in the SEC, which you're going against defenses like Georgia, where all of these guys are going to the NFL.
Yeah.
So good. So it's like his ability to do that against defenses translates better to the NFL than I think if it was coming from Ohio State like CJ Stroud. I think his arm strength is a lot better than people give him credit for being a smaller guy. Like, I think he did more with less at Alabama than Mac Jones did. So I think he should go number 1. I think he should be the one that the Panthers draft. At the end of the day,
anymore.
yeah, I'm happy for you. So I think that he should go number 1. I think that team 4 takes it. I think that team 4 is the winner. Team 2 being close behind.
Gotcha. You think Bryce Young's going to be better than Kyler Murray?
Yes.
Interesting. They said the same thing about Kyler Murray growing up, or when he was a freak athlete, strong arm, accurate passer.
I think that Kyler Murray, like, he even showed that he can do that in the NFL. I think Kyler Murray has more of a trouble with like
the decision making
and the mental aspect and being like the solid team player that's easy to work with. If he is, I think he could be one of the best quarterbacks right now. I think Bryce Young has so much of Kyler Murray, but so much more. Like, I think he has more potential.
Gotcha. So I just said team 4 is 4.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I picked him as my winner and you picked him last place.
Well, we'll say. Picked it completely based on I think Bryce Young's a bust.
Interesting. I don't think Bryce Young will bust. I think that he has the highest floor because he has an ability to get lanes and things that Baker Mayfield hasn't. He doesn't really retreat in the pocket unless he needs to. He just seems like a much more intentional, like sharp football player than Baker.
Problem is what I realized too, especially because I'm a big Baker guy, is the problem with those quarterbacks is their passes get batted down in line of scrimmage to the NFL all the time. But you can make the argument that someone like a Kyler Murray gets outside the pocket and doesn't have to deal with that, which you can make the same argument for Bryce Young. But now you're telling me that my quarterback can no longer be a pocket passer or a less effective pocket passer. He has to get out of the pocket in order to complete a pass, which I just don't think works well in the NFL.
I think it's both and. That by getting outside, you change running lanes when you're passing inside the pocket. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be treated different, so you're going to get different lanes. You have to think about passes more. I just don't think that height is the biggest determinant of what's going to make a good quarterback. I would so much rather have a quarterback that's super mentally sharp, that understands football, that knows how to make plays wherever, than someone who can throw over a defensive lineman.
Yeah. I agree. Like, height is not the sole determinant if you should be an NFL quarterback. The problem is you're literally talking about the best top 10, I would call them top 10 athletes in the world almost. Like, you have to have everything from athleticism to mental toughness to strength to like quick decision. Like, you have to have kind of the whole package mentally and physically as a quarterback. Problem is, if you're under 6 feet, you take away a big physicality factor. And I'm not saying you had to be 6 feet or 6'2" or 6'4" to be a good NFL quarterback. It does hurt though.
Oh, it hurts for sure. My thing though is that an NFL quarterback is expected to do so much. Yeah. Everyone talks about they're like the PhD level position out there. So if someone has all of these other factors, but they lack the height, why? Like, are you really willing to say that the height outweighs everything else? Like, if you're better at 99 things on the list, but you're shorter than this other guy, are you willing to miss out on a potential? Okay, let's put it this way. Say that Bryce Young has the potential to be like a Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he does, but say that he does. Are you willing to miss out on picking him because he was 2 inches shorter? And you went with someone who you didn't see the same ceiling with, but was 2 inches taller. Would you, as anyone who didn't pick Patrick Mahomes, be like, oh man, because he wasn't taller? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It definitely is a bigger risk taking Bryce Young, even with the attributes. I really do believe
Really?
that. Mm-hmm.
I don't think CJ Stroud is going to be that good.
Well, I mean, you can make the argument for any quarterback up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of like picking a 4-leaf clover, essentially. So you could.
That's true. That is what the draft is.
Yeah.
And as we've said in the past, like it's very hard to get an elite superstar quarterback most of the time
because they have to have so much.
And then once you get in the league, all the right things have to pan out past that.
Right.
All right, Florida man, you got the biggest lead. You're 6-4.
6 for 4.
Pretty solid. Story number 1. A birthday party in the suburbs of Orlando went awry when Mickey Mouse wasn't who people thought he was. Partway through the party, Mickey asked to use the restroom and disappeared. 10 minutes later, he was found stuck in the bedroom window trying to escape with a bag of stolen items. This is where the story really took a turn. When a few of the dads at the party removed the mascot head, they were startled at what they saw. The Florida man had tattooed and disfigured his face to look like Mickey Mouse.
Disfigured his face?
So I'm assuming like plastic surgery and things like that.
Wow. Okay.
Story number 2. Just outside Orlando, a Florida man wearing a bull onesie and his accomplice broke into a home and begun to steal some items. They covered the home security camera with a towel for privacy and left a burning pot of ragu sauce near the stove's burner to start a fire to cover their tracks. Meanwhile, the man whose home was being burglarized received an alert from his security app, and when he saw the camera was covered, immediately called police. When police arrived at the home, they saw a red SUV trying to flee the residence. Although the burglars claimed they were at the home to pick up clothes, police found a TV, a vacuum, and an empty jar of ragu sauce inside the vehicle.
Wow. Okay. It's a lot to unpack here.
A lot to unpack here. You can ask, I'll give you like 20 seconds of questions.
No, I don't need that.
Okay.
I don't need that
Good,
because you made up story 1 because it's not as descriptive as story 2. Story 2 is more descriptive and it's copied. Therefore, story 2 is the real one and story 1 is the one you made out.
Dang. Story 1 is made up.
Let's go, baby.
It's not copied though. Like I wrote it out. It just, I was trying to trick you with the descriptive piece because sometimes I'll throw in made up details to trick you off because of that. So I thought that being less
it just sounds like you made story. Like I went with the gut. I went with the gut again. And it sounds like
this is the biggest lead you've had. You've got a 3-game lead.
7 for 4. Dude, my gut is just telling me the right answers here. I don't know.
Yeah. You need to go back to your mind so I can just dance around and treat you like a little puppet.
You got the video?
No, I don't have the video.
I was like, the bull onesie would have been hilarious if they saw
hilarious. So then real quick, growth mindsets. We didn't do it last week with the guest on, which loved the episode with JP. If you haven't watched it, listen to it. You should definitely go back. Just an awesome dude. And it was a really cool conversation. But my last one was to text or just reach out to friends more. I did that some, would love to continue doing that. But my main one, I'm trying to get fit. I got to get my diet better. Got to get my diet better, get exercise up. So that
you better be glad I didn't give you a donut then.
Yeah. Couldn't do that.
Suggestion though, I would give you for the text and the friends, and I didn't even finish this, but I read somewhere you could do like a 27-day challenge, or 26-day challenge because there's 26 letters in the alphabet.
Yeah, and
every day like go through the A, or like first day go through the A's in your contacts and see who you want to reach out to. Second day B's.
No, that's a great point. Some of mine is like I don't know about you, but I naturally think about friends that I've had, or not has, like current friends that just will pop in my head. And that's when I want to do a better job of when they're in my head to like text them. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm already thinking about them. Like it's great to reach out to other people, but the people, like you can't keep up with everyone. And so the people that I like genuinely am thinking about and want to reach out to, just like texting them. Yeah. That's kind of the transition point where just, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'll text them later or I'll think about it. It's like, no, like,
text them now.
Text them now. So that's kind of so it's not like as much of a hack to add this thing. It's more of just, again, when you're thinking about people reaching out. So still want to do that, but this week I got to get fit.
Yeah. I like that.
Knock, knock, knock. That's downstairs if anyone's wondering what's happening.
Who's at the door of the big bad wolf? So for me, it is morning routines. Establishing a better morning routine is what I am going to try to do, especially in the month of March and April.
That is a solid one. So moving on, the draft today is wing flavors. Wing flavors, and this is an odd episode, so you get to pick first.
Oh, I love this. So for me, it is the classic buffalo sauce.
That is a good pick.
It's just classic. It's something that typically a good one is spicy enough, right? But it's not too spicy.
Especially if you add the ranch, it's always nice.
Oh, the blue cheese.
My pick number one, I think I'm going to do the honey barbecue.
Yeah, that was my, yeah. It's just two classics.
It's, in my opinion, it's like teriyaki, but just better. It's good.
Honey barbecue is so solid. So for me, number two, though, it's an easy honey Old Bay. And I only get it every once in a while, but every time I get it, it's one of those wing sauces. You're like, I should get this more.
Ooh, that's solid.
Yeah. So honey Old Bay.
Pick number two for me, I'm going to go with a garlic parm. Garlic parmesan. It's hard to beat that.
That was my three.
I figured it was. That's why I tried to grab it early.
Gosh. All right.
You know, sometimes on a draft, you have to pick the most valuable to you.
I know.
And sometimes you have to pick what you think the other person's going to draft.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So number three for me is a very similar to my number two, lemon pepper.
that's a good one.
It's I very rarely get it, but when I get it every time, like I need this more.
Pick number three for me is going to be the Asian zing.
Ooh.
It's like a
I don't know
sweet
if I've
Thai, but a little
had
better.
that.
You haven't? I love it at B-Dubs or anywhere. So good.
Yeah. So I'm actually going outside the box a little bit with the wing
Okay.
of like a traditional like Buffalo Wild Wing or something. Teriyaki. Just like an Asian teriyaki wing, just classic.
I don't feel like that's outside the box.
Almost
I feel
like,
like
a
that's a very
sweet
normal one.
teriyaki though, like a sweeter, you know.
I feel like that's a very normal wing flavor.
Yeah,
like
But I
not
feel
at
like,
all.
I feel like you wouldn't get that at like a wooden iron or a traditional wing place.
Yeah, but like a B-Dubs or any place like that, you would.
Okay.
Most wing places. I don't know. For once, I think you're normal and you're trying to fight me on it. All right. Pick number four for me. You already took buffalo, which was next on my list. I'm going to go with mango habanero.
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever had that.
It is good. It's got a great heat to it.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. Last one for me. And it's kind of a little bit of the same as your parm garlic, but it's a spicy garlic. Just because every once in a while I like a good kick.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought about a basic hot. I thought about also doing Caribbean jerk.
Oh.
But I'm going to go with a hot honey. I think hot honey is my number 5. I know it's a little bit more of like a chicken than a wing, but I eat boneless, which are chicken nuggets. So I think this counts.
You eat chicken nuggets anyway, so all
I think
these
it counts.
flavors. I can't believe you eat boneless.
Why?
I don't know.
They're
I feel
just
like people who eat boneless are just off a little bit.
And I'm off a little bit. That makes sense.
Fair enough.
Fair
How many
enough.
boneless wings could you crush in one sitting if you were hungry? Like you skip lunch and you're at dinner.
Is it I'm eating dinner and this is how many I would like to have, or how many could I eat if
No,
I put
could.
myself- Could you?
Like a hot dog.
30 something, 35, 40?
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Depends on how big they are, but like,
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit of a grab bag, a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, like Buffalo Wild Wings boneless. They're like
Yeah.
typically like this big.
Yeah, but some are smaller there too.
I think it's a fair number.
Yeah. You agree?
Right.
Well, that was episode 11
I'll say.
on Say. It's been a little while since we've plugged ourselves, so we're going to try it again. If you don't mind sharing with a few friends, that would be awesome. We're trying to build an audience.
Yeah.
To keep doing this thing.
Should we do a little subscriber giveaway or something?
Oh, I don't know if I was thinking for Masters. So
I like
we
that.
might could do it sooner. We are going to do some golf balls, some branded golf balls and some other things. And so we're going to try to make something good. So we're going to have a good giveaway. But before then, just scratch that and pretend like we haven't told you that. And that's another kick. Come in and just share the goodness of your heart. Then maybe
Yes.
we'll give you something sick.
Yeah.
You can always just tap the 5 stars.
Boom.
That'd
Tap
be
it.
awesome. Tap the 5 stars. And then we are on socials at Undrafted Amateurs, if you don't mind giving us a follow there. So
Yeah. Follow the socials, baby.
follow the socials. Peace.